D-U-R-T-L-E power, D-U-R-T-L-E power,
Okay,
D-U-R-T-L-E power.
Let's calm down, let's calm down.
Anyways, Turtles in a half shell?
Yes, yes.
Turtle power?
Anyways, I'm Mark Rodriguez here.
Turtle power.
Yes.
Cowabunga.
And this is Paige. And you're watching the Mark and Paige TMNT countdown because the new movie is coming out this weekend. And we're going to try to do our best is that we're going to review all 4 of the movies. I know some people do count Turtles Forever as one of the movies, but we're counting the ones that are actually in theaters. And, you know, there's 3 movies, and people, like, I guess they count the CGI one as part 4, even though it kind of doesn't fit, or whatever. But anyways, the thing is, we're going to start talking about all 4 movies, and then, of course, the 5th one will be this new one, and we'll see how that goes and everything.
Ow!
Yes. So, now we're going to start with the original, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That came out, I think, 1989, 1990, one of the, I think it was 1990. We'll check later.
Get your information right.
Yes. Well, the main thing is that, well, what we're going to do, the way we're going to do this also is that I mostly saw most of these movies in the theaters when they were new or recently released on VHS, remember that? While Paige recently saw them like maybe a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago. So we're going to kind of dare to compare our opinions of someone that saw them back then to like a more recent person that was recently exposed to these older and cheesier movies.
I've seen bad things.
Okay.
I've been exposed.
Okay. So now we're going to start with the first movie.
I've seen the horrors of the cheesy turtles.
Okay. Now, first I want to start with the general plot and everything, and then we'll go with our thoughts and opinions. Okay. Now, for people that haven't seen the movie, basically it starts out in New York City. There's a big crime wave. You know, these ninjas, these kids are stealing things everywhere. And April O'Neil's the only one that is brave enough, basically, to like get down to the bottom of it and expose that maybe this ninja clan called the Foot is behind this and everything. And of course, Shredder finds out. Shredder's like, find her, silence her. So the Foot go after her. And when that happens, of course, that's when the Turtles show up. They start saving her. At first, in the beginning, the Turtles all four of them save her, but like Raph loses a side during the fight, and April grabs it. So Raphael's kind of chasing her around. She just jumped in the subway. Raphael, wants to get the side back, saves her, brings her back to the lair. Foot soldiers find out about the Turtles and Splinter. Splinter gets captured by the Foot and everything. And then, like, the rest of the Foot attack the Turtles. Raphael gets, like, beaten barely to death and everything. The Turtles escape to the farm. They recover and all that good stuff. They come back and fight it out. And then, of course, the epic final battle against, yes, Paige is also doing her version of summarizing this. And then, of course, the big epic fight against the Shredder and all that good stuff. Okay. So, like I said, as someone that's seen this, like, barely, maybe first...
I'm not going first. You go first. I always go first.
Okay, well, let me see. There's lots of things to say, though. But one thing I do want to say, well, I missed the original theatrical release, okay? That's the thing. I saw it on VHS when it first came out. It was so epic, though, on VHS. But, I mean, we didn't have the money, okay? We didn't have the money. But I think back then it wasn't expensive.
You would have begged your parents.
Yes,
Mommy,
but,
Daddy,
yes, but
Mama,
if there's
Papa.
no money, there's no money. We can't.
No,
you can beg all you want.
No, it's like, Mark, no, it's money. No, it's turtles.
Anyways, I'm trying to say, we saw it later. But the main thing is that, I'm surprised, basically, I mean, it's just so awesome how this movie was so awesome and spectacular. I mean, if you're any kind of Turtle fan, this was like the most awesome movie, like, ever. It's like the, oh my god, this movie I've ever seen in my life! It's like the most epic
Change!
movie. Yes.
Give me change! I need some change!
Yes, and one thing that you guys, of course, if you're fans of the original Mirage Comics Turtles, you might notice that the storyline is a lot closer to the Mirage Comics and not so much the cartoon that was popular in the day. Because, of course, back then, most of us only knew about the Turtles based on the cartoon and not like the Mirage Comics or anything like that. But yeah, most of the stuff like the whole thing about them attacking Raphael, well in the comics it was Leonardo, but same basic concept, it was Raphael, they escape to the farm, they come back, that whole storyline that was all part of the original Mirage Comics. And it was just, well, there wasn't any it wasn't, sure it was in it, but I mean, Krang wasn't in it, no Beer Park Steady, no mutants, no robot foot soldiers, no Technodrome, all that stuff we see in the cartoon, none of that was in the movie. And the thing is, no one cared back then. no one cared. It was like the most awesome thing. It's like, oh my god, like real life action turtles, and they're fighting the Shredder. Oh my god, no one cared, you know.
No one's crying.
Yeah, because when they made the TMNT CGI movie, everybody making the big deal. Oh, Shredder's not in it. Oh, why don't you put Rocksteady in it? You know. And now this movie's coming out. Everyone's also complaining. Oh, they changed this. Oh, they changed that. But back then, no one complained that why are the turtles fighting against black human foot soldiers, not the purple robot ones. Where's Be Up Rocksteady? You know, where's like the turtle van or something? You know, like even I was kind of confused, but I just assumed that maybe because it was too much of a high budget, like I don't know how they would have made the technical back then. You know, I just went with it, but everyone loved it. But yeah, it was a pretty good movie. It's pretty awesome, and I know what people might complain about this, but everyone always they always say this was the best movie ever and everything. Every time I make like this new movie that came out, they were like, you can't beat the original, man, and all that stuff. But guys, the original was still very, very cheesy, okay?
It had like the seriousness of the comic, but the 80s cheese.
Yeah, the Turtles were goofy as all hell, and most of the fighting was it was still kind of silly slapstick fighting with the symbols and spitting water and all that weird stuff. And it wasn't until the end, basically, when they fought against the Shredder and stuff, then it got like it was like real martial arts fighting and not goofing around. But yeah, most of it was lots of goofing around, lots of cheesy stuff, lots of 80s cheese. So, I mean, I'm not saying anything too bad, but it wasn't like the super perfect, like, oh my god, like this is the most awesome turtle movie, like this is the one that's the best turtle movie ever. Like, I don't know, it was still incredibly cheesy. I guess it's like what Paige said, it did deal with serious themes that you wouldn't see in a cartoon for kids, like the fact that Spencer might be dead, and the Turtles are kind of sad or kind of worried about, well, what do we do if our father is dead, you know?
And like stuff. Freaking the ending, what happens to Shredder?
Yeah, that too, and all that stuff. But then at the same time, the Turtles are goofy and silly, and of course April's still Lucy Porter like in the cartoon and wearing yellow and everything. So you know, it was a decent mix, but I still liked the movie. It was still awesome. And what do you think, Paige?
Well, obviously I didn't grow up to the series, so honestly, if it wasn't for Mark, I would never watch the movies. And I watched it before one time before. I actually watched it all the way through. The sequels are when I fell asleep to. I, along with not fully paying attention to the movie, I was like mocking the movie the entire time, making sexual references. If only we could put that movie on YouTube, and then you could hear all my horrible, dirty, perverted jokes. And I was making fun of like everything. Like, how would a rat know? A normal rat, not even touch mutagen, nothing. And how can he fight? I wanted to see if he was like learning and like watching and learning and not like making the moves and stuff. But the movie makes him, Splinter, be able to do the moves while he was still a normal rat. A normal rat. Not like a mutated rat, a normal rat. So what else did I say that was kind of weird?
Well, you were basically also surprised by how the Turtles were doing all the stuff in the costumes, like back in the old, because it was actual guys in suits and not CGI, so.
Like, you get really hot in those things, I wouldn't doubt it. I watched this one guy, he made his own, like, whole different reference, but this guy made a costume completely, and he had like this ice vest on, and that thing didn't last too long. But like people back then probably didn't have anything like ice vests. They probably just had to suck it up and stick through it. Especially for those fight scenes, they're probably like heat exhaustion, fainting from heat, sweating a lot. I don't know how they could do that though. They have talent just doing something like that.
Yeah.
What else did I say?
That was basically the more important. Oh, of course, Casey Jonesing at the end. I don't think it counts as a spoiler now, but.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, he just literally smashed. If you never watched the movie, Shredder lands in a garbage truck, and Casey Jones activates like the back to smash the stuff, compress it, and that literally would just smash him. That's horrible. I'm like, that's gross for like still a kids movie, but even you don't see it, but still.
Yeah. And you're supposed to just laugh it off because, oops, you're supposed to play, oh, we just crushed them to death.
Blood and gore.
It's so funny. Yeah. And of course, another big thing, of course, I mean, it just seems so tame by today's standards, but back then, it was such a big thing with Raphael being, damn, and all that, and the parents were freaked out and everything. And
how bad little kids are nowadays. I shouldn't say all. Obviously, not all kids are bad, but like how much like kids like say a lot bad words now.
They say worse stuff playing on Xbox
this,
Live, you know.
I remember standing at the mall and there was these like 3 little kids sitting beside us, like maybe 8, 10, 11, 12, and the little kid's like, "Shut up." And the other kid's like, "Did you say fucking?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you said it. I'm telling on you." I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. But back then, the biggest complaints is, remember, like I said, most people only knew about the Turtles based on the cartoon. If you read real comic books, I mean, come on. They killed the Shredder in the first issue. I mean, Leonardo basically jams his sword right through him in the first issue. But we didn't see that in the cartoon. So the parents were freaked out with, you know, damn. They were freaked out that Raphael was basically half dead in the movie.
I love how they stick him, the half-dead Raph in the bathtub. It's like, he's dead. Stick him in the bathtub.
Yeah, and all of that
Harvest
stuff.
his organs.
Yes, and of course Shredder was a lot more darker, more serious, and more scary than the cartoon version. Yes, with the more dark, I am your father. Yes, all of that. And well, yeah, all that, and you'll see in the results when we cover the sequel. The sequel does tame it down some. Turtles don't use their weapons that much because they also complain about the weapons, and all that. You'll notice that. And do you have any other last thoughts on the movie in general?
If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't watch the movies.
Okay.
I don't even remember if my brother watched the movies. I don't even remember if he had not DVDs, obviously, the VHS tapes. I don't remember any of that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if he was any kind of Turtle fan, I mean, that was like the thing to see. So
I know, but still, I don't know. That was
movies. It's like being a Batman fan back then when the movie came out with Michael Keaton. I mean, if you were any kind of Batman fan, you just had to have the movie.
I was still too young to.
Well, that's basically what I want to say. It was a good movie. It's interesting. I mean, it's still kind of fun to watch. But I do gotta say, and again, people might complain, I still like the sequel better than the first one because the reason is, even Paige was spoiling the sequel a little bit, you know, it did get boring after the whole farm.
Go ninja, go ninja, go ninja, go.
Okay, but that's the thing though. It did get a little boring after that. It was a little dragged out. I understand because it does take time to, like, I guess, show how the Turtles were slowly recovering. It doesn't look as bad as Raphael just wakes up the next day. He kind of gives that emphasis that he was knocked up for, like, a couple of months, I would say, and stuff like that. But the thing is, it just dragged it just dragged the movie, made it boring. As a kid, I was a little bored.
Or the first movie?
The one we saw right now, the farm, all the scene where they were in the farm and talking.
That was I thought that was like a couple days.
It's probably been, well, you know, but it still kind of slows down the movie. And as a kid, I was still like a little bit bored. Once the Turtles, it's like, it's just time to go back and everything. And if you go back, then it's action packed. Then you're like, they're fighting again. You know, then it gets like exciting and action packed all over again. But that's the thing though. The second movie, it did keep the kind of funny and whatever tone all throughout the movie. There was never a part that really got like overly serious and boring. So that's the only thing I have against this one. That scene, I do understand. Like I said, as an adult, I do understand it's stuff that have to be seen. You know, character building. Give more time to show off that Raphael was like, you know, half dead and it takes time for him to recover. April gets to know Casey better, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, cheers. Ew.
Okay, but as a kid, it was kind of boring. It was kind of like, okay, when are they gonna, go back and fight Shredder and stuff, you know? But anyways, guys, that's our review of the first Turtle movie. I say it's a good movie. It's an awesome movie, but yeah, guys, it's not the super perfect, like, you know, movie. I mean, I guess it's the best Turtle movie in terms of a Turtle movie, but it's not like that awesome and perfect as most of you guys. I mean, take off the nostalgia goggles, guys. It's not that perfect. But yeah. But anyways, guys, that's this movie. Stay tuned because we're going to continue the TMNT countdown as we start with Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. And this is Mark Rodriguez.
Secret of the Ooze. Da-da-da-da.
Yes, Mark Rodriguez and
Turtles in a Half Show.
Oh, you. And Paige
Raph.
also. Yes, and Paige. And we'll be seeing you guys next time.
Brr.